My name is Peter. I'm Dscoop's Executive Director, and I'm the host of this show. I'm happy to welcome you to the third episode of the link already. So we're getting some consistency in here, which is great. And this is a series of conversation with members around collaboration. First off, thank you for joining. Big thumbs up for you showing up here and, hosting number 3 of this series. I mentioned we're recording, so you can catch the recording later on our platform. Also, a few other things. Stay muted during the conversation. Again, if you want to ask a question, press the raise hand button, and I would be more than happy to bring you on stage and ask the question. Also, as I said, you can use the chat. You can see the profiles of the others in here. And for those who are new to this format of events, the live chat will be accessible through your messages section on the platform, but it's only for the people that are here live. So if you are watching the recording, you're going to miss out on all the secrets that were shared on the live chat. So with that, I would say we are about ready to go. Now for the real attraction of the day, please welcome Ulrich Schätzl from Elanders Print and Packaging, I think. That's the correct pronunciation.
Yes.
Thank you, Uli. Welcome, and thank you for joining. A quick note, where are you today?
So I'm today in my former company in Donauwörth. This is south of Germany, Bavaria. So usually close to my home. That's good news.
That's good news.
Good news. Travel for last weeks, yes.
Exactly. So, Uli, let's kick it off, right? Let's get into it straight away. I mean, we are talking about collaboration and we're talking about the print industry, but, give us a bit of a perspective. How did you get into the print industry?
How I get in the print industry originally by my father's company. This is, I don't know, 40 something years ago. I grew up with that stuff and tried to, I didn't know if I would stay in the industry, but then I studied print technology and ended up in the big litho printing company and joined my father's company 20 something years ago. And I'm happy to be still part of the printing industry as we do it today. And that's the main difference as in the past. And maybe building the bridge to the headline of this session. We experienced within the e-commerce digital printing industry. That's how I define what we do together with a few others joining this session. This is based on collaboration finally. And collaboration means for me somehow working together towards a common goal. This is the purpose of collaboration. And personally, I would define or divide collaboration in 3 different areas. First is the business development section, where you together with other PSPs or together with your brand develop new business models, products, or strategies to enter into markets or new regions. Secondly, which is also a big part driven by Dscoop, is the technical and the procedural level. If you service a brand due to a collaboration within PSPs, it is common sense, meanwhile, that you discuss and collaborate finding the best technology or finding the best process to get the best result for your clients and, of course, the best effectivity for yourself. And last but not least, this is, I think, the first what comes up in everyone's mind if we're talking about collaboration. For me, it is an outcome of several other things, is the pure order submission back and forth and generating turnover. But this is an outcome. This is not the first priority. So collaboration on three different levels. What I experienced in this, 10 years within digital and 10 years with Dscoop, that collaboration is built and based on personal relationships. That's finally the core and the essence of all that stuff. And I think business and the private life, the same rules applies. A good relation is built on trust and honesty. And that covers the common and global sense for me for collaboration. And if you collaborate successfully, you've been known as a reliable person, act honest, open-minded, well, then collaboration could work out. And for me, really important is don't take yourself too seriously. Okay, this is really important, and move the ego aside if you're joining a community and try to contribute as good as possible. So that's collaboration in a bigger headline for me.
Okay. Hey, you mentioned you started in the industry. Well, it was a family business, right? So I mean, what was that like? Like your perspective on collaboration? Was it similar to your father's, or was it like a generational difference in the approach you had for the business?
It is. First of all, my father was in the offset printing business and in Germany. So two hurdles to overcome. That's the German mentality somehow, and the litho printing mentality where the locked and shut doors were common sense. In the digital area, especially outside Germany, what we experienced is a total different mindset. So my first abroad experience was in UK, totally different. Of course, the hurdle of competition is much lower because different country, different business. We have been the newcomer. The people I was talking to have been well-established companies, and they were happy to share knowledge, to share clients, to share everything. But it is a give and take finally, and that's the difference. So it's really caused by the industry my father was in, and I also experienced this shutdown or locked door mentality for 15 years when I have been in his company and we tried to do something different till we decided to become purely digital. And then things changed in the mindset and in collaboration for sure.
Yeah. And what made you go abroad then for what was your first trigger to go look outside of Germany?
If you agree, I would deduce it from the beginning, right from the beginning. So when we decided 2014 to transform the company, we have been ambitious, enthusiastic, and really had no clue what we are going to. And then we realized pretty quickly that the world was waiting for us only to a limited extent. Okay, and we had to think about how to reach our goals. And then Dscoop, yes, start becoming part of my life. We tried to generate turnover or get volume of workload in by acquiring a company. That the company met at these days some financial issues, and we tried to acquire them. So we stepped in this due diligence process. Yes, finally it failed, but I met Norbert Frenzel. I don't know if one of you, I can remember him. It's 10 years ago. He was part of the company we want to acquire, and I could convince him to become a member of our team. And Norbert was a great Dscooper at that time. And then we started a journey together. He introduced me to Gary Peeling Precision, introduced me to OneFlow, and introduced us to Dscoop. And that now from there on, it starts building momentum. So we became an early adapter of OneFlow, now SideFlow, and quickly joined various Dscoop events. And coming back to your question, you can approach it in two different ways. If you go on EMEA level, it's much more convenient to do networking in your native language. It's easy stuff. But, and coming back to the competition situation, the hurdle to overcome competition within your own country, even if you are a newcomer, is pretty high. It's too high for me to jump over. And if you connect outside, okay, you have two other barriers. This is your comfort zone. You have to step out, and the language. in the language barrier. But I experienced that it is all the natives, they tolerate your linguistic weaknesses, mainly understand what you want to tell them, and the barriers of competition are really low. It's the other way around. They supporting you as good as possible if you're able to build somehow a relation over the time. So, and that's the reason why at my first EMEA event, I voluntarily choose the international part. You know, it's meanwhile I knew all the German guys that was okay, and it was exciting for me. It was also for me stepping out of my comfort zone, and in a retrospective, the right decision, because it's so much fun to have party with the Brits. So it's a lot of fun. That's how I became more or less part of this international community. And besides, the first conclusion that I could make is this: the personal relation is key. No restraints. English, always works somehow. And the natives are really, really tolerant.
Yeah. What did your sort of German peers think of you when you took that decision? Well, you took that decision and you started to lean more on the international network. Did anyone have an opinion about it, or think you were, what are you doing, or?
Well, when you start, you start within your language community. This is obvious, and these are the Germans. And if you meet 2 to 3 times and you always see the same attendees, that's also good people, nice people. But then you have to do something new. Maybe this is up to me. I haven't asked anyone. I just did it as I did it, and it's okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And for now, so this international approach, more or less, which we have, is mirrored in our own network that we maintain every day. We have 2 partners within Germany and 12 partners where we collaborate on a daily basis outside Germany, from US via UK to Australia. So it is e-commerce. That's an international business, and that's the way how it is.
Yeah. And then, when you said like 2014, right? So you started the move into digital. I mean, now that's 10 years ago, actually. So that's a little celebration to do, probably.
It's okay.
If you fast forward to today, I mean, looking back, I mean, you probably, it was an eventful, but a great expansion, I think, for the company over the 10 years.
Yeah. So yes, finally, yes, it was the right decision, and it was a success due to different reasons. We started from scratch. So we had just an idea. We had a dedicated amount of money. We knew what we need technically, and we also knew what we could afford at that time, and we did what we could. It was okay-ish. Yes, and due to, I think the growth is based on 3 main pillars. First pillar is site flow. We have been the early adapter, and many brands were connected to OneFlow site flow. And if any brand was looking for a German PSP, we were mentioned, and we have been able more or less to onboard the client. That is 1/3 of the growth. Third is networking and recommendation out of the Dscoop community, and the last third, honestly, our own sales activities. And just to give you just a rough idea, we grew from scratch to roughly 40 million in 10 years. It's not too bad. And but it's based on these 3 pillars, and I think this is a proven example that collaboration based on personal relation can drive your business. But for me, the most important topic is how you approach that stuff. You do collaboration or networking because of you like it and you like to meet people, or you be greedy and want to catch jobs. This will not work out. Finally, it's the other way around. You will you will get the stuff maybe you need for your business, and collaboration serves your business, but you should approach it as a human being, interacting with people and see what's going on and what is the outcome.
Did you also, I mean, it's one thing to get to do it as a person. The other, it's the another element or dimension is doing it as an organization or as a company, right? How did you see a change in the people around you that you were, did you had a lot of convincing to do, or were you able to have a group with you? Like when you talk about, your own sales, but also with the side flow and the networking, it's one thing for you to like it, but how did you put that in the minds of your people around you in your organization?
But that wasn't a really hard stuff for me to do. When you start something new, it's always exciting, and luckily we could onboard the right people with a similar mindset. We try to define why we do something, what are our values, and try to build a company culture. Big words, but we tried to do it as good as possible. And the team that you have in mind that is also connected to the Dscoop community, they share the same mindset. They are ambitious people. They are hungry. They are bold, as well as we always try to be. And they are really appreciate on different levels, on sales, on side flow, on HP technology or finishing technology, whatever comes up, to have an exchange with people and Dscoopers all around. And I think they are participating on a regularly basis on the events, or organize things themselves, or site visits, bilateral or with a few. So yes, they're sharing the same mindset and the same enthusiasm for that collaboration stuff.
Yeah.
Which makes it really easy for me to to somehow guide the way. And it's the same. Nothing has changed since we became part of the Elanders group. Of course, it was many people. We have been 100 and something before we stepped into Elanders, few thousand overall, and 1,000 something in the print and pack division. The mindset of the key people within the e-commerce business unit share the same mindsets. There are a lot of young talents as well in other sites that we try to involve in the Dscoop stuff and the young talent stuff to build the next generation, because it's pretty easy to share knowledge about technology, but collaboration and networking has to be built by each people individually. So I can't transfer my network. I just can help the people to step in the network and become part of the network. Okay, works so far so good.
Yeah. So. Hey, you mentioned just casually the Elanders name, right? Because everyone knows you now as the CEO at Elanders, but that happened with like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I think.
2.5, yeah, 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, cool. What's the transition like going, as you said, from a, let's call it, small in big brackets, right? Indeed. From a family-run business almost to an enterprise.
As always, there are ups and downs. First of all, I would do it again. it was 21, 2020 and 2019 on a regular basis. Private equities, venture capitalists reached out and asked if I want to sell my shares. I wasn't interested, honestly. And finally, it was end of 2020 when I replied or reverted to one of these approaches. It was a good conversation. But finally, I realized this is good for me. If it's good for the company and the company culture we build, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And together with my management team, we concluded if I should do it, because it was my company, there has to be an anchor investor somehow with a good company culture, philosophy, and is able to direct work streams into our facility. Because the people that went with me for many, many years, they deserve that after me making me happy that they could remain for a while.
Yeah.
Was it self-fulfilling prophecy or something else? I don't know. In February 21, with through a consultant, Elanders knocked at the door as usual in their business. And then we pretty quickly decided that's the right approach and it's a good fit. And the strategy Elanders is heading to was really fits to our strategy as well. And now the benefit is that's a really powerful and strong cooperation, which enables us to realize the technical investments and the growth if needed. Of course, it's a public company and you have to respect more rules than before, but this is also okay. That's the usual way how to do it. So overall, the move or the new shareholder Elanders is enabling further growth of the site and the e-commerce business unit at Elanders itself. And this unit and e-commerce is identified as a future business. So all good. All good.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting. I had the privilege of actually visiting both, right? So we were at Schaetzl last year, and if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago. No, it was before. No, well, anyway, at some point we also was 2 years ago at Elanders and last year in Schaetzl, right?
Yeah.
Just interesting when you say culture and corporation, it felt like the mindset was very similar with both, right? So in Elanders, clearly you have a good position and a good leadership, but it felt very similar, entrepreneurial and quite forward thinking as well.
Yes, thank you for the feedback. It is indeed the case. That's also one reason why this deal, the acquisition happened, because the mindset of my new boss, Sven Burkhardt is my new boss. The mindset is similar. So I felt for me, it's pretty easy to work for him because that was my biggest change. And as he is leading the company there, he has built also the culture and the leadership. And this is pretty similar. So it's quite easy to align the two companies more or less in the parts where we have to work together,
Yeah, definitely. And then when you look sort of into the future, so it's safe to say, I think, that going into that collaboration space has, so far so good, right? It's worked out in many ways.
100%. And again, that's key for me. That's key if you the Dscoop is mainly driven by digital printers. The digital world, it is the world. It's not just a country, and none company can cover the world. So you need collaboration, and Dscoop is the platform to build the collaboration in different areas, as I mentioned. So I just can motivate everyone to participate actively in local chapters in EMEA or maybe globally. If you want to see US, go over. It's always worth it to do, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, you would do it again, eh? So I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, and then you mentioned as well, right? So there were three key things around collaboration, right? So you talked about obviously revenue order submission, right? So there needs to be some form of stream there. On the technical side, what's your approach there? Because you have to achieve that pretty tight integration, right? If you want to have a good collaboration.
Yeah. So it was. Sorry again, maybe it's boring. I have to repeat is side flow. Luckily we took the decision because we had none. We had identified the technical assets, which is pretty easy, but how to implement, or what is the right workflow system to have an automated batch process workflow? The players at that time had all homemade and homegrown solutions, and we defined for our company, we are not a software development company. And I'm still 100%, we are printers and we produce products and not developing software. It's a different type of business. And then luckily get introduced by Norbert to Gary, took the decision. Nothing was perfect at the beginning, but everything improved over the time. And we still, I don't know how many million items we process via a year. And to connect between SideFlow systems or via brand center, if a brand is still connected to one SideFlow PSP, it's a short way to go for him. Makes the life pretty easy. Well, and that's it. That's our, and this will be our strategy. And I don't know how public it is, but there are a few things ongoing to extend this network thinking and strategy due to a physical network within the PSPs of Dscoop. That's absolutely the right way to go due to sustainability reasons, due to capacity, capex reason, etc., etc. So
yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And it's, by the way, it's public, right? What you're saying is
okay.
you've been involved in as a steering group in the development of what we used to call the Dscoop print, the distributed print exchange, correct? You've been partnering with us and other PSPs, yeah.
And so this is the in consequence the next step after the collaboration, relations building, exchange of personal stuff, of technical stuff, of clients. We are now going to collaborate via a physical technical network to move orders around the world.
Yep.
And that's more than reasonable, and I'm really excited to see it alive pretty soon, because
Yep.
then yes, it is a collaboration on a different levels, and this is excellent. That's the way to go.
Yeah. And then you talk a lot about all the collaboration international, but what's it like within Germany? I mean, you started talking about clearly your history of with experience with print and your family business and being like closed doors. You mentioned Germany as one of the factors there. When you look at collaboration and then even say, because Germany is a large market, right? I think it's one of the largest in probably the largest in Europe as a national market. The sense of collaboration within Germany, how what's your perspective there?
So on an order submission basis, yes, there is somehow meanwhile collaboration, but I think this is driven to peak volumes, or if you can fulfill a specific product, then the other one can't do it. It's slightly growing and it's getting better. The collaboration, share knowledge, open doors, have visits and counter visits to exchange. This is pretty good. So there are mainly no restrictions. There's no company that doesn't open the doors if there is a specific topic on layflat, on, I don't know, HP devices, etc., etc. This got better over the time. Yes. Which I much
Definitely.
appreciate, because everyone can learn anything every day, something every day. And
Oh no, definitely.
yeah.
I
And
even remember a visit to Vihabo here in the Netherlands a couple of years ago. So it was you with Manuel.
John was it
John
John?
Tolley was here. At least I saw him, and John Bailey. And it was just there's one image that sort of sits in my mind, is that you were talking about this little thing, the small crates that Joris was using to transport the different jobs. And here you are, collectively running, 150 million plus business, and then discussing something, well, small as that, right? And I think you guys were standing around it for 20 minutes, talking it through and handling it, and super tactile, right? So it's also those little things, but they can have huge implications, probably.
Indeed, because I think if you run a business in that dimensions, each of the mentioned companies, you have solved the main topics. Otherwise, you should shut down the company and you lose too much money. So the small tech pieces that get you better each day by a bit, and adding many bits is also a good amount of improvements over the time. And yes, that's the boy group you mentioned. The boy group. We have a good still have a really good personal relation, and then we are able to talk about these tech deep dives and are excited about solving these little detail. That's great. That's really great.
So we have one of the other boys here, as you nicknamed him. Let me get John on stage as well, right? So,
hi, John.
Mr. Tolley, you just have to press the microphone button and then unmute.
Hello, guys. Hi, Uli.
Hello.
Hi. You look
Good
really
to see you,
buddy.
How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah. It was good to see you last week.
Exactly. And speaking of collaboration, we are on a call in about 15 minutes time, I think, with your team, a technical call to solve a few problems with a mutual client of ours. So
this wasn't planned to bring you in the session, but that's what I mentioned at the beginning. Collaboration is on different levels, and one of the levels is to find technical solution for a client or for your client to solve the issues and make things better and more efficient. That's
solving the same problems that we both have faster with more minds on it.
Yeah. That is good. That's really good. So
that's a good approach. Definitely. So maybe, John, we're going into the Q&A section. Maybe just I'll rope you in on a quick question. So that sort of scene that I talked about in a few minutes ago, is that the same experience for you? And even in your relationship with Uli, where it's sometimes you can have big, like high end topics to discuss, like big rocks, but it's the smaller ones that potentially impact the bigger change, as you mentioned before as well. What's it like for you?
There's so many of those exact scenarios. When I went over to Donauwörth to see Uli's factory with Manu, some of the things that you see on the factory floor that you've been trying to solve for ages. You go, there, you've done it. That's it. And I can see Joris on the call, walking around. You're walking around Joris's factory. Just a simple thing of putting marks on the spine of a book to prevent any mismatch in books. We've brought that back, implemented that straight away, made a massive difference immediately. So they're the small things, the little tiny things that solve big problems together.
And this just can happen when Joris or John or we or someone else open the doors, let you in, and discuss about the topics that we are all facing similar topics, similar issues, because we're doing similar kind of stuff. And if this helps each of us to get better,
indeed,
that's contribution.
So if anyone has any questions, feel free to raise your hand. And then since Joris was mentioned as well, oh, there we have perfect timing. I'm just going to add Joris to the mix.
No escape, Joris. Sorry, mate.
No problem. We'll send you the invoice for the technical details.
You missed it.
Order submission.
Now, I was just wondering, as John also mentioned, and we've been working with Schaetzl for a long time now as well. But since this is about collaboration, do you know any pitfalls, downsides in collaboration that you encountered over the years? Or of course, there's a lot of good stories.
Yeah, I know. Downfalls. Today, no one cheated my honesty. That's I didn't experience this. But one downfall is that we had some flops. We tried to grow. We tried to honestly acquire someone or the work of a really renowned photo book printer in Germany. They played an ugly game. We were searching to or leading with that acquisition our profit zone, because at the beginning we lost a hell of money, because you have the technology, you have the workflow, you're ambitious, but you have no workload, so you're losing money, and you have to think in a long term. It's not a sprint, it's not a marathon, it's something in between. And we try to reach it, and they they played an ugly, honest game. We sank a lot of money and inflated our SKU settings, twisted around, did whatever the customer required, and then the customer finally moved on. This is the pitfall. It's a downside. But so cheated. No, not for now. Not for now.
No.
That will happen. That will happen for sure. But that's life, Your first love, your second love, sometimes.
But also it's also long distance relationships. And how are you gonna be able to control exactly how somebody on the other end of the world is performing to your standards? Or
okay. So yes, let's focus on the printing and product quality. Usually the partner or the collaboration partner you are aiming to go with, you're pretty sure that these partners are in the same quality range and level as yourself. And for me, it's better to, let's say, to give trust instead of spend a lot of efforts to control. If something is escalating, okay, then, as you know, then you have to catch up and discuss. But with the partners, like we have a partnership, we mentioned this, it works in the gambit of good and bad as usual and as a standard that you self use in your own companies. So no, we don't do a lot of control and measurements. Of course, we monitor the KPIs and the order volumes and all that stuff, but we rely on the quality and believe the quality of the partners that we experienced in the past.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joris. Just building on that, I mean, when you talk about quality, right? So clearly that is kind of critical in the industry that we're in, is sort of, let's say, understanding of quality other than purely the measurable part. Is it also part of of like you said, that personal connection and the mindset that you share a similar attitude or perspective on the quality and the process?
Yes, it is. It has to be, otherwise, so in Joris and our relation, he is the face to the customer, and we have to meet his standards. If not, it is you will not stay in that market really long if you doesn't meet the common quality expectations on the one hand, and as John is stating in the chat, cheat once and your reputation is damaged. You can do it once and then it's done. It's simple. It is. Simple it is.
Yeah. Do you feel collaboration potentially improves your quality?
Yeah.
Or drives you to excel even more as a group?
I would say yes, in the case that no one wants to be the worst. So everyone is ambitious to keep on track with the others, and this is motivating and lifting the bar, I think, upwards to the benefit of the client and the benefit of each company, reprint ratios, saving money to this and that. I would say yes. Joris, would you also say yes, or have a different opinion? Sorry, you're muted again. I don't want to just
click the unmute. Oh, I can do that actually.
I'm unmuted now. No, I agree. It's important to collaborate on all levels, and we all chase the same performance levels, I think, in the end. So, trust, as you mentioned, that's also a big part, of course, in the collaboration and honesty. I think the biggest pillars, if you don't screw each other over and you deliver, then we're all on the same ship, and we can all, get the best out of each other and our customers.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Good. Okay. One last reminder: anyone has a question? Remember, I have this pack of Dutch stroopwafels that will be on your way if you ask the best question. Eugenia is going to challenge this situation. So I'm going to bring you on stage, Eugenia, and go ahead.
Well, I have a few questions that I've been writing down, but I'll choose do you have like any sort of process like in documentation or for this collaboration that like you follow strictly when you're collaborating, or is it more depending on who you're collaborating with, or do you follow certain steps?
We follow certain steps and have a clear workbook for the technical aspects. Okay, product, technical connection for sure, but who is the cooperation partner itself? No, that depends per case, or per product group or per country. You know, if you have something, let's say in UK, it's obvious who is the first to reach out to. If this is not possible, okay, is there a recommendation to find someone else? Or we know someone else. So this is the current situation. And yes, for the technical stuff, that's a clear workbook we follow each time.
And like on the workbook, could you say like what are like most like the topics, or like not?
No, there's a lot of technical. This is usually just technical topics. Is the partner, the collaboration partner, able to fulfill the product? Then the technical connection, backend, site flows, queue definition, pricing, all you need, this boring stuff you need to invoice by the end of the month. This is clearly defined in several processes and workbooks.
Okay. And in these tech boys deep dives, what has been the greatest discovery that you have made? Like, what was the one that you were like, this one, or like in Dscoop site visits, or that like you could say that like you would not go further without that?
That's the question who will win, because I think I can answer to it.
Finally.
I don't know. Honestly. I don't know.
And out of curiosity, Ulrich, are you using already, or like, are you implementing or trying to start using AI inside your business?
It's a really popular topic right now. I know that the marketing department is on integrating, doing some AI stuff. Okay, I'm not the expert at AI, and I know that Matthias from my tech and method department is also investigating how AI can benefit our business or his work. That's what I can tell you. Honestly, personally, AI is fancy stuff. I have no clue about it. Okay. But I know that it's ongoing with my young talents, and this is good for me. This is good for me.
Okay.
Cool. Excellent. We have another question. Thanks, Eugenia.
Thank you.
Here comes Helen.
Hey.
Off you go.
So I guess for me, collaboration becomes a lot easier when we're working towards a common goal. Yeah. So whether that be achieving something for our customers, our shared customers, but I guess one of the biggest shared goals that we all have as organizations now is in relation to ESG and sustainability. And that's almost bigger than us and bigger than our individual businesses, isn't it? So I guess my question is are you finding that as ESG becomes more prevalent, more people are talking about it, it's higher on the agenda, is that changing the way that you collaborate? Is that making it easier to work with other businesses in the industry, or in fact, is it making it more difficult?
Both, I think. So at first, it is priority number one or two. It depends. Profit or sustainability. It's changing. Depends on the time of the year. But this is the highest rated topic. For us as Elanders, it is driven by the board. So it's a lot of pressure on that stuff. Not to do greenwashing, just to do something sustainable. That's what I appreciate pretty much. So we're working pretty hard with this topic. And sustainability in our business with distributed distribution close to the delivery destination. That's the first step. And that makes sense. This is also then networking stuff. So it all comes together if we take sustainability and ESG seriously. Then collaboration is the key. And as well, many clients are really focused on sustainability and pushing the PSPs to get better each year. It's a challenge, but we appreciate it and we accept it because this is in a big picture the right way to go. So yes, it is positive for the business. It's a positive impact.
I think for me where the benefit should come in terms of collaboration across the industry, there feels to me like there's either no best practice or no benchmarking, or there's almost too many things that you can look at in terms of accreditations and certifications, and you don't know which one to pick. And I think that's something where the industry can collaborate better in terms of working together, so we're all working towards the same standards, the same goals. At the moment, I don't think we're quite there yet. I think we all have work to do on that piece.
100%. And for me personally, yes, finally you get a certification. Yes, okay, but this is still the end. You have to have that stuff due to legal reasons or marketing or whatever reasons. But before you did your homework and you got more sustainable in your business and reduced the carbon footprint, and this brings you to a certificate. And this is for me the more valuable part of that goal we are working to. So yes, we are on our way towards a goal, and it's not clearly defined what the goal is clear, but where it ends is not defined right now. We have to find our way.
Yeah, it's a rocky road in this area, definitely. Yeah, lots of consideration, but also lots of unknowns, right? As you said, Helen, it's very hard. I think for where do you start? Where do you, like you said, certification is almost like an end goal. Doesn't guarantee everything else after it, but it's almost like a change agent for your mindset as well, right? So in getting it right, yeah, very cool.
Thank you.
Okay, we are getting towards the top of the hour. The window is closing on asking the best question. So, Helen, thanks for asking yours. Just in closing, Uli, a final question to send the audience away with a final thought. So if you look back at those past 10 years of sort of collaboration, right, or that collaboration, what is one thing that you know now that you would have wanted to know back then when you started?
How easy the business life could be if you maintain your relations in private life as in business life. There is no difference, And if you have a lot of friends in your private life and you're good in interaction and good in networking or maintaining friendships, don't do something different. Stay as you are, step in the platforms, and you will get a lot of new contacts and friends and build relations, and that makes you successful. I thought it's much more difficult, do something else at the beginning, if you're new, and stay as you are, do the same if you do in your private life, if you do it right, okay? Then you build the right network and collaboration as of at home.
Yeah. Well, that's a good one. Honesty can last a very long time, right? So in that space.
Yeah.
So okay, excellent. So with that, Uli, I've pasted a link in the chat. Dearly appreciate your feedback. So if you want to click that link after the session and just answer a couple of questions for us. As I said, the session is recorded, so you'll see the recording coming onto the platform in the next couple of weeks. I would say a big sort of thank you, thumbs up, smileys for Uli. So excellent. Thanks for sharing that and being open. As a German, I mean, fantastic. But no, really, we've known each other for quite a while, and it's incredibly consistent the way you approach all the things in work and also in life. So much appreciated. Guests, thank you for asking the questions. Uli, it's now on you. Who's going to win the best question? So
sorry, Helen. Eugenia asked the question I couldn't answer, so it's up to you, Eugenia. Okay,
Eugenia, I'll be bringing the stroopwafels to Indy probably and hand them over in person to you. So
thank you very much. We can share them all together.
We can share them all together. Enjoy. And I'll bring them to Germany next time we meet, Uli. So no worries.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much. Uli, great to have you. Thank you for sharing everything.
Thank you.
And then have a great day, everyone. Take care wherever you are.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.